Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Welcome to the lounge. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. Today we're talking about something old, something new, something borrowed.
Something
nothing
brown.
Nothing blue. Yeah, some brown whiskey is what we're talking about today, as well as some blends, some fun, new to market, kind of special release products. And these are going to be our first impressions on all three of these items. One's going to be a rye, one is going to be a blend of bourbon and Tennessee whiskey, and then one is from our friends at Found North. So
it's a high rye blend, right? High rye?
No, high corn blend.
High corn blend.
On the Found North. But we'll get into all those and speak more as we go. Let's not delay at all.
Okay. Let's not.
I think all of these may be some version of a special release. How hard they are to get is going to depend on where you're at. Every market is different. But we're just going to let you guys know what we think about them, and you can kind of take what we say and you can see if it might be something you're interested in. So first up is going to be Old Forester's High Angel Share. Wrong. It's 117 series. The 117 series High Angel Share are some of my favorite releases they've ever done under the 117 series. But this is a bottled and bond rye. Kentucky straight rye whiskey at 100 proof. We just did a barrel pick up at Old Forester, the King of the Forest pick, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And that'll be out later this year. If you want to check out our Patreon, you can get our barrel picks down there through that. But we got these while we were there. Mm-hmm. Distillery only release, and we're going to get into it. So they said it was just shy of 10 years old, couple months shy. So I think this is 9 years, 10 months old.
Okay.
Maybe even 11 months old.
And this is a rye, and it's 100 proof.
Yes.
Bottled and bond, okay.
And so, for full disclosure, we did warm up our palates for today's video with Old Forester 100 proof rye.
Mm-hmm. Which, that was my first pour of the day, and as, I gotta say, that is a really good, warm up pour. Like, it drank a little bit hotter than 100 proof to me, but not so hot where it was, not a bad starter pour. Mm-hmm. You know, I need to go back and visit that again. I didn't know that I liked that so much.
Yeah, every time we have it, it's always surprising. It's not super complex, but man, it's sweet, it's delicious, it's not herbaceous. It's $25 and readily available everywhere. Yeah. I did ask the age while we were there on the regular 100 proof rye, and they said that it was a 4 to 5 year old blend. So this is basically double the age at the same proof point. Okay. So
is it the same mash bill?
Same mash bill, which is a 60% rye, and I think it's 30%, maybe over 30% malted barley. I'll put that information for this mash bill in the video description below. But yeah, it's a very unique mash bill. It doesn't really exist other than in the Old Forester rye on the market. But again, the 100 proof $25 bottle is 4 to 5 years old. The single barrel ryes, they said, were around the 6-year-old mark. And then this 100 proof bottle and bond 117 series is 9 years and a couple months shy of being 10 years old. So very interesting. This has big shoes to fill. It's a 375 milliliter for $65, distillery exclusive.
This smells good.
Wow.
On the nose, I would think this was a bourbon. If I didn't already know it was a rye, if I was blind, I probably would think it's a bourbon.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect because I've never had Old Forester rye at this age before. Actually, prior to this release, I don't think anybody has had Old Forester rye at this age before, because the oldest you get is the single barrel selections at around 6 years old. This smells way more rich.
It smells rich and sweet. And it smells dark. It smells darker than it looks. It smells like it would be darker than it actually is.
Yeah, almost a little bit of syrupy, molassesy type of dark notes, which a very interesting point that went down in the comments on a recent video. As bourbon gets older, it gets more woody and all those things. As rye gets older, it kind of loses some of those really minty, herbaceous, which the Old Forester rye doesn't really have that anyways, but some of those candied rye notes, all that stuff kind of gets rounded out, and it doesn't really get more woody. It just gets a little bit more rich, and that's exactly what is happening on this.
I'd like to get more rich as I get older too. So,
well, cheers
to that.
Cheers.
Wow. That's real good.
Yeah, this is really good.
It also drinks a little higher than 100 proof. Although, the finish is 100 proof finish, but on the palate, when it's on my tongue, it feels like it's higher than 100 proof.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the surprising thing to me on that first sip was, I feel you on saying the finish is like 100 proof. It does kind of, in the viscosity, you know, it doesn't have that super heavy oiliness that you would really like on kind of a barrel proof rye or something like that. It does taper off, but the spice sticks around on the back end.
Yeah, it's a lingering spice.
Yeah. So
I think we need a second first sip, though, to confirm.
Yeah, we do.
That's good. I did get a little bit of nail polish on the second sip.
Which is a note that we get in Old Forester from time to time.
It's not a pudding, but it's there.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's their yeast strain. I don't know if it has to do with their heat cycling of their warehouses. Second sip there for me is leaning way more into like that brown sugar, kind of root beer type of notes, like root beer barrel candy.
Yeah, I am getting a slight drying too. Not bad, ever so subtle, like drying, like almost like green wood. It's not young, but like if you took a green wood popsicle stick and put it on the back of my tongue, that's what I feel like, just like ever so slightly. I'm being like super nitpicky. Because normally we drink things blind, and so when I'm not blind, I feel like I have to be a little bit more nitpicky because I know what I'm drinking and I want to be completely honest about what I'm tasting.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, these are special releases. They're not just shelf products. We should be a little nitpicky about them. I mean, this is a $65 bottle that's 375 milliliters. So if you double that for a 750 milliliter bottle like we're used to, that's a $130 bottle. Number one, we should be nitpicky about $130 bottles and hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Number two, this is a special release that you can only get at the distillery. We should be nitpicky about that because if it's, you know, I think there's a lot of hyperbole in whiskey where people are like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, when it's actually just pretty good. So,
or it could be amazing, but maybe once you it could taste amazing, but once you factor in cost of acquiring said purchase and time and travel and all that. So like, I'm glad we have this bottle, but I wouldn't specifically drive up to the distillery to go get this bottle.
Yeah. If
we were there, we were able to purchase it. I'm glad we purchased it. I feel like that was money well spent, but I don't think I'm going to be like, hey, let's go specially drive up to Kentucky and get this specific bottle.
That's a good point. If I got an email in my inbox, I have plans tomorrow. Let me just say that, okay? I've got plans tomorrow. If I had an email in my inbox right now that says, hey, we have a King of Kentucky for you. It's a 2.5 hour drive away, but you can come and get it. I'm driving 2.5 hours. My plans tomorrow are canceled. I'm going to Kentucky to get a King of Kentucky. Would I do that for this? No. Is it really good though? Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's worth $65 in my opinion. I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't pay a bunch of money for it. It definitely comes across sweet. It comes across brown sugary. Kind of leans more into that Kentucky Michter's type of rye profile. That would be a great head-to-head. This against a Michter's 10-year rye.
Do we have a sample of Michter's 10?
We don't. Not anymore.
ISO sample of Michter's 10.
We can find one.
So we can put one up against.
This is very close to that age. Oh, I feel like I was not going to drink any more of it, but I got to take another sip and think of it in terms of Michter's rye.
Do it later, off camera. You can do that.
Well, I was going to let the people know.
Do it off camera, and then we can actually talk about it when we have Michter's to taste it against.
So $65. I'm saying thumbs up. I think this is a worthwhile buy.
I think it's thumbs up. It's not a special trip thing, but if you have an opportunity to buy it and try it, I think it would be money well spent. I don't think you're going to be super bummed, even if you don't like it. Someone will like it, so you can find someone to take it for the price that you paid. Yeah,
and I didn't know what to expect out of it because, like I said, I've never had. Can I have a glass, please?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I've never had Michter's, or we'll see. I got Michter's around the mind now. I've never had Old Forester rye at that age before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I'm pleasantly surprised. I had the bar set really low because the regular 100 proof rye is so good for the money.
Yeah.
And this, I don't even think they're really comparable. They don't taste like the same thing. The extra age really does show up on the palate.
I think that aged well. Like that product aged well.
It's a really nice release.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have a little media sample here. Not a full bottle. And look, this was sent to us as well as the Found North has sent to us. They just sent media samples, not full bottles. That's fine with us. Yeah. We don't need the media samples or the bottles, but we got them. So we're going to cover them for you guys' sake, so you know what to expect out of these products. If you see them and maybe you want to buy them and you maybe want an opinion on them. But this isn't like, we're not sending them this video for approval. We don't have to say anything about it. We don't even have to review it. We don't even know if we're going to like it because we haven't tried it before now. But we're going to try it for you guys. You can think because they sent us this, our opinion is colored. If you so choose, we can't. All we can tell you is we're going to be honest. We're happy to have this mainly to be able to share the opinion with you guys. Mm-hmm. So take that for what it's worth. Yep. This is, by the way, I should specify, this is 3-quart Allman Brothers Backstage Pass 107 proof release. Okay. It is a blend of 9 to 11-year-old American whiskeys, which is a 9-year-old Kentucky bourbon mixed with an 11-year-old Tennessee whiskey. So who knows where the Kentucky's from? Presumably, the 11-year-old Tennessee whiskey would be from George Dickel. We shall see. Who knows? And it's been finished in peach brandy barrels from George Washington's Mount Vernon distillery.
Okay. While we're drinking, I have a question to ask you about Tennessee whiskey.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let's smell it real quick, and then I'll ask my question.
All right. This
smells like the outside.
It doesn't. I wouldn't guess that this is peach brandy finished on the nose.
No, not at all. Okay, so Tennessee whiskey. Mm-hmm. When I hear the phrase Tennessee whiskey, I think Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Is other whiskey made in Tennessee not called bourbon? Because Jack Daniels uses, like, they kind of coined that term Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
So when I hear Tennessee whiskey, I don't think Dickel. I think Jack Daniels.
Right.
Because Dickel, it makes bourbon and they make rye. They don't make Tennessee whiskey. Jack Daniels
make Tennessee whiskey. Dickel make. A lot of places make Tennessee whiskey in Tennessee because it's a marketing term.
Correct.
Bourbon has a set of laws they have to follow. Tennessee whiskey also has a set of laws they have to follow, which are all the laws of bourbon, plus what is called the Lincoln County process, which just means that it is ran through charcoal mellowing.
Okay, so in order to call it Tennessee whiskey, it has to go through the charcoal mellowing process.
Yes.
Which Jack Daniels did originate that process.
But it doesn't take it's not an additive process. So to be a Tennessee whiskey, you're already a bourbon.
Correct.
So then you take the bourbon and then you just run it through some sugar maple charcoal.
Right.
And then you can call it Tennessee whiskey if it's made in the state of Tennessee. It's a marketing term. So
no, it is a marketing term. But I just thought Jack Daniels was the only one that used it.
No.
Okay, cool. No. Good to know. Let's drink.
On the nose, we already talked about the nose. Mm-hmm. There's not much there.
How old is this? 4 to 5 years? Is that what you said?
9 to 11.
Oh. Nope. Wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I don't know if this isn't getting a fair shake because it's coming off the heels of that Old Forester rye being really, really good, but this is different.
Okay, so in comparison, that one was same age range.
Yep.
That one tasted a little darker.
That one being the Old Forester rye.
Yes, I'm sorry, that one. I'm pointing over there because you put it there. The Old Forester rye. I forget you're not here in the studio with us, or in the lounge with us. The Old Forester rye tasted a little darker. It did taste a little older. This doesn't taste as old as it is.
Yeah,
compared to what we just had.
I think the peach brandy finishing is bringing some brightness into the equation that otherwise would not be here if you were only dealing with the base blend. With that said, I don't know if this is George Dickel whiskey or not. There are other places in Tennessee that make whiskey. However, 11 years old is a pretty common age for George Dickel.
Okay.
And there's not a lot of places in Tennessee that have whiskey that old that do source to other brands. And 3-Chord has used George Dickel in some of their products. I don't know if they've advertised that or not, but that's just kind of a general common knowledge thing in the whiskey space.
Okay.
But yeah.
So my overall impression is, how much is this?
$200.
I wouldn't buy it for $200. I don't.
Yeah.
I hate saying that, but
that's a lot of money for us for whiskey.
And it's not super complex, and you think it would be because of all that's being done to it.
Yeah.
It feels like there should be layers there, and it's pretty one note for me, and it's kind of like just an alcohol juice note. I'm trying to be creative with my words.
Sweet alcohol juice.
But I can't. That's like literally what I'm getting, sweet alcohol juice.
Well, and look, sometimes when they make special releases like this, sometimes they're geared towards the whiskey nerd. Sometimes they make special releases like this, and they're geared a little bit more towards the fans of, like, this is an Allman Brothers Backstage Pass release. I think that's what we're getting here.
Yeah.
Because what is here, to me, I do find enjoyable. Whatever's going on with that peach brandy mixed with that Tennessee whiskey in there is they're kind of playing off each other in kind of a nice way. And then the Kentucky bourbon's bringing a little bit of oomph to the party. I don't find this to be bad by any means. I do hear you on it being simple. It's sweet. It's kind of generally sweet and good.
Yeah.
I think anytime I see a product like this, my number one concern, anytime I see a finished bourbon, is the finish going to be too heavy-handed and just overrun the blend? And then is having a Tennessee whiskey component in here going to throw things sideways?
Well, I don't think the finish is too heavy-handed.
Agreed.
I think they did a good job with the finishing component. I do think maybe to your point, granted, I'm not on their marketing team. I don't know who they're marketing to, but I do feel like tasting this, they may be marketing more towards the general Allman Brothers lover who may not be like a whiskey nerd. Like they drink whiskey, but they're not a whiskey nerd. So this is for someone who is also doesn't claim to be a whiskey nerd, but who by proxy drinks a lot of whiskey because we have a YouTube channel. This is a little simple for me.
For $200.
For $200.
Yeah. If this
for $45 and I'm an Allman Brothers fan, yeah.
Which they do have, I think as I was researching this, they do have a more mainline product, Allman Brothers collaboration thing that is $50.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to try that after now having tried this and see how those compare and contrast. I don't know how they would fare. I didn't read up too much on it. I just saw that it existed, and it wasn't the information I was looking for on this media sample.
Gotcha.
But I think for $200, for me being a whiskey nerd, and $200 wanting something that's big proof, a lot of complexity, this doesn't hit the mark for me on that regard. But it is an enjoyable pour and was fun to try.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like for what I'm going to start calling a casual whiskey drinker, because I'm not a casual whiskey drinker. I'm not a whiskey nerd, but I don't think I'm a casual whiskey drinker. I drink it too frequently to be a casual whiskey drinker. So I think for someone who is a casual whiskey drinker, just drinks it on occasions, maybe at weddings or, special events, or just from time to time, and they just love Blanton's, and that's like their favorite. I think that would feel special, and I think that is a good point. That's a good whiskey for them. Yeah. So every whiskey is for someone. Yeah. That one's just not for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Very well said. All right, moving on to the next one, and this is going to be Found North Batch 11. Okay. Again, media sample. They used to send full bottles. They've become too popular. They do not do that anymore with us because by the business,
they
only have so much of this stuff that they can put out, and they want to make sure that it gets to as many of you guys as possible. So they send us media samples, and we're totally fine with that.
We love Found North.
We have to enter lotteries just like you guys do, and this is going to be in lottery. By the time you see this, it will have already opened up for lottery, and that would have already been closed, and they would have already sold out of this. Their stuff we love it. However, every release is different, and there have been releases that we have felt are very much awesome for the money, and we've had some that, like Helldiver, for instance, that we didn't think was particularly on base as far as Found North goes for us. However, other people thought that was one of their best releases. So every palate's different. Yep. But this is 18 years old at a minimum, and if you're not familiar with Found North, they source Canadian whiskey, and then specifically, they source high-aged Canadian whiskey components, and then they blend it to the palate of bourbon and rye lovers who like barrel-proof old whiskey. So this is 18 years old. Have some information up here. This is a blend of 18 to 24-year-old whiskeys. There are, or let me just say, the proof is 129.8, so it's way up there.
Okay, stepping up in proof.
The derived mash bill is heavy corn, 91% corn, 8% rye, 1% malted barley. This right here is, I think there's like 6 different casks involved. Yeah, 6 different casks involved for the corn components. And then there's 2 different rye casks involved. Some of that is the Peregrine release, which was one of their best releases ever. They use some of that in new wood casks, so you're essentially getting a double barreling component in here. You've got some new wood aging. You've got all kinds of stuff going on in this batch 11 release. And this is going to produce just shy of 8,000 bottles. So again, it's a lottery item. If you can get it, get it. If you can't, you're probably just like us. We can't get it either unless we win the lottery.
How much is it?
I don't know for sure, but most of their bottles run around 150 to 200 bucks.
Okay.
And we have felt traditionally that almost all of them have been worth that to an extent.
Okay. This is going to sound super weird. And I think I'm probably the only one who's going to ever say this about whiskey. But I've been looking at a lot of fabric online lately. And this smells like a white lace fabric. Yeah. Like cotton.
There's a freshness here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a cotton white lace, like you make little girls' dresses out of, like super cute country white cotton dress.
Well, here's what I'll say. Of all the noses, I like the Old Forester Bottle and Bond Rye nose the best.
Same. Agreed.
It is incredibly rich and dense. I just went back to it, but this right here is surprisingly light, surprisingly fluffy. It's just it feels a little bit more like spun sugar, like a kind of a flavorless cotton candy spun sugar type of thing.
It's like a cotton sundress to me.
Yeah, I was expecting darker, and that's what I'm kind of used to, something like Peregrine or like darker fruity elements or darker caramel elements. I'm surprised by how light this is on the nose.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of sugary sweetness there.
I feel like there's some brown sugar depth that I'm getting the more I smell it. Smell it? I said that weird. Smell it? You're rubbing off on me. Your Southern is rubbing off on me. So I'm interested to drink this. Can we do it?
Yeah, even there's a little bit of like a pear juice type of note in here too. I'm gonna drink. Cheers.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I feel like 12 things just happened.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there. Man.
I need another sip.
That's crazy. Okay, this is what I love the most about Found North, because they are true enthusiasts that run the company, and they're blending cool stuff. Like, whether you like it or not, that's your own opinion. And again, we've loved some of their releases. Others we haven't cared for quite as much, but we've still liked them. They just make cool stuff. And this, I can't think of anything that tastes like this tastes.
Yeah, it's super complex. Like in a way, and by complex, I mean, I got like a bunch of pictures in my mind all at the same time. Like cotton fields, erasers, spicy, like there's a little spice on the back of my tongue, but like I got like fresh cotton, then pink eraser, then some sweet candy. I don't know what kind of candy, and then some spiciness. Now my tongue is kind of tingling. Like a lot of things just happened, and it happened all together. Yeah,
I think you get the proof on the back end, both in spice and heat, and they are balanced with the heavy sweetness in the pour. Like this almost reminds me of like a sugar cube in a cocktail, and
a carbonated cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, there's
some
pop rocks
sort
going
of
off on your palate,
carbonation in that cocktail, but yeah.
Yeah, there's like a sugar cube, like some kind of like Demerara sugar, something going on. I think that's that corn whiskey component. And then I've drank enough Found North, and we've done several Found North barrel picks, which we're due to do another one if we can even get our foot in the door over there. They're so popular nowadays. Hopefully they don't.
Good for them.
Good for them, but I mean, hopefully we can still get in. Hopefully they're not, We're
the little people.
Yeah. But anyways, these are like, man, this is kind of, let me just say it this way. This is impressing me, and I didn't know what to expect. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting dark, rich, dense. This isn't that. This is way more sugary, sweet, bright, but then it's like sugar and spice. Yeah, because the spice on the back end kind of does balance out the forwardness of the sugar that you're getting, the sweetness up front. Also, we need to make sure we don't run out of tape. Yes. The other thing I was going to say, I've had enough Found North to know that new wood component, and that is threaded through there as like a foundational element of the pour. So you get that kind of new toasted, charred wood element. I like this. 150, 200 bucks. That's a buy to me. Yeah, I would enter the lottery, and if we were able to buy it, I would be like, yeah, we could buy it. Yeah. I like that. That's good. I'm not going to like lose my ever-loving mind to get it, but I'd try. It's unique. It's not Peregrine, but so like, in the pantheon of Found North releases, it's not my absolute favorite, but man, is it enjoyable. So if you can get one, and you did get one, congratulations. You've got a great bottle headed your way. If you didn't get one, just enter the lotteries the next time. Found North tries to be really fair about their lotteries and who gets their bottles. So just keep entering the lotteries. The more you enter, the more likely you are to win, because they want people to win. So yeah, Found North, 3-chord. Thank you guys for the media samples.
So
they won't watch this, but
yeah,
thank
if we were ranking real quick in order of preference, I prefer the Old Forester 117 series that we had in first place. Second place would be the Found North, and then in third place would be the 3-chord Allman Brothers. That would be my ranking.
Right. And with me being more of a sweet whiskey lover, I would switch and put the Found North in first.
That's fair.
However, I do think the Old Forester Rye is very close, not because it's the same. I just took a sip. It's quite a different pour.
It's different.
But they're both really good.
Yep.
So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, give us a subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Like the video if you liked it.
Yeah.
You can find our Patreon down in the video description below, as well as a link to shirts like this, glassware, all kinds of sort of stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for watching. Be good to each other, y'all. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers. Man.
That was more fun than I expected it to be.
I don't know. We don't typically do reviews, but we've done more this year, and they're fun sometimes. It's fun sometimes just to rip it, you know?
Yeah, I
See
do
what
like
happens.
I do like the freedom of speaking when I don't know what I'm drinking though.
Yeah.
That is freeing to me, and I want to make sure that I always feel that freedom.
Yeah, we'll always do blinds, but it's kind of fun doing uncut too, because people get to see the whole process and our whole thoughts, and there's no sweeping anything under the rug. Not that we did that before anyways, but it feels a little different. It feels a little more relaxed.
Yeah. Although sometimes it takes me a while to get my thoughts together. I don't like people saying that.
That's normal though. That's how most people are when they drink. They have to take a sip and think about it. And the reality that YouTube often shows us, take a sip, immediately you've got 15 notes. That's not the reality.
Yeah.